you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us on this kind of wet and cold Thursday morning.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's starting to come down right now out there, but we do have a great show today. But let's go ahead and kick it over to Michael real quick. So, we can hear some kind of a wintry mix going on outside right now. I don't think anybody's doing PT this morning, needless to say.
Yeah, I would recommend against it. Although, if you are out there this morning, just be careful if you're driving. Currently, we do have a wintry mix in the area. Here at the station, we did just get some sleet pellets earlier, but right now it's currently 35 degrees at Fort Sill. And as far as your PT forecast is concerned, regardless, this morning, we're going to be in the 30s all morning long. We may even dip into the lower 30s as temperatures will still need to go down just a little bit, and then they may rise as we go into the later morning hours into the mid-30s. Looking at satellite and radar, you can see this band of precipitation pretty much from southwest to northeast, and it's just north of the Lawton area and just south of the I-40 corridor. If you can zoom in just a little bit, a lot of this is transitioning into rain, and it's mixed with some snow mix, and they all continue to be the case as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. We do have a winter advisory that includes here in Comanche County and Fort Sill, and this will not expire until 3 p.m. this afternoon.
Now, speaking of not doing PT this morning, we do have a heads up if you're heading on post this morning, because Fort Sill did announce a delayed start. They actually announced that yesterday. Multiple facilities will be opening later than usual.
So all fitness centers will be opening up at 9 o'clock this morning. All CDC and CYS facilities will be opening at 8:30. Freedom Elementary is currently awaiting information from Lawton Public Schools. They will be providing updates when they become available.
Now, all AFES facilities will be opening at 9 this morning, except for the South Sheridan location, which will be open at 8 a.m. Reynolds Army Health Clinic and Dentac have announced that any appointments made before 9 a.m. will be rescheduled.
All personnel are advised to check in with their leadership and monitor the My Army Post app for updates. Now, looking at our top military headlines, the fallout continues in Washington after reports surfaced that U.S. forces conducted a second strike on the survivors of an attack on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean earlier this year.
That's right. President Trump now says that his administration would release video of the second attack if asked. During a cabinet meeting yesterday, War Secretary Pete Hegseth defended the department's actions, saying that attacks on narco-terrorists are proving effective.
And then it's getting after and going after narco-terrorists and designated terrorist organizations in our own hemisphere. As I've said, and I'll say again, we've only just begun striking narco boats and putting narco-terrorists at the bottom of the ocean because they've been poisoning the American people. We've had a bit of a pause because it's hard to find boats to strike right now, which is the entire point, right? Deterrence has to matter, not arrest and hand over and then do it again, the rinse and repeat approach of previous administrations.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have promised to look into the incident. Members of the Senate and House Armed Services Committee have been highly critical of Secretary Hegseth's response to the allegations.
Their latest explanation is they weren't blowing up the people, they were blowing up the boat. If those darn people just wouldn't cling to the wreckage, they would be fine. So if they're swimming, they're okay, we won't bomb them. But if they're clinging to the wreckage, we're bombing the boats, and we have every right to bomb boats. That's ridiculous.
And at the end of the day, the buck stops with the president and the so-called Secretary of Defense. And it's not clear to me that the so-called Secretary of Defense is being truthful in this instance.
An Inspector General report claims that Secretary Hegseth endangered American troops by sharing sensitive war plans in Yemen via the Signal app.
Messages were leaked in March by The Atlantic when a journalist was mistakenly added to a group chat containing multiple high-level officials, including Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, National Security Advisor Mike Walls.
One of the messages that was sent by Hegseth specifically stated when bombs were set to be dropped. The Inspector General's report says that Hegseth shouldn't have used Signal and that senior Defense Department officials need better training on protocols.
Turning to our local military headlines, an Army veteran originally from here in Lawton has developed an app that is designed to help veterans find affordable lodging when traveling.
Now, Rob Bocage has more about the Foxhole app and how it's saving vets a few bucks.
This week's hometown hero is William Collins of Lake Charles by way of Lawton, Oklahoma. And prior to making Southwest Louisiana his home, he served as an infantry officer at Fort Polk. But William wasn't alone with this service. He had not only siblings who served, but he also followed in the footsteps of his dad, making sure he made both his country and his family just as proud with one key word.
Oh, man, probably sacrifice. Sacrifice, and what I mean by that is from the family. I watched my dad serve 25 years plus. Both my brothers served, all my uncles. So it was just kind of like a calling for me. And then I got to serve 4 years, and I really got to figure out how to fit in on a team, and that the world's not all about me. So that was my biggest thing.
And William also learned leadership skills as a quarterback at ULM.
If you're the one, in control, kind of calling the shots, you need to be thinking about other people. You can't just be thinking about yourself. You can't be greedy. And you got to serve the team. That's what you need to do as a leader. And if you're thinking about yourself, no one's going to want to follow you.
And with those skills, William has created a site and app for veterans to find short and long-term stays that are veteran-friendly and discounted.
We're traveling all the time, and I just got tired as a service member and now a veteran of overpaying and staying with people who don't understand necessarily my timeline. Our guests, our verified military guests, get to enjoy not paying a guest fee. So they're just paying for what they see as a listed price.
And Southwest Louisiana is rubbing off on William as he's always ready to greet and assist his fellow Lake Charles neighbors.
Well, I would say, hey, love your neighbors yourself. I learned that in the Army, very directly. And, I understand that, and I'm able to see that and help anyone if we cross paths.
William Collins, we thank you for being this week's hometown hero.
Really cool story there.
Yeah,
I know Will. I remember you played a quarterback in MacArthur. Got to cover him a little bit when I was covering sports.
That's really
great
cool.
Football player, and obviously he's had a great career move here.
So you have a personal connection there, kind of when you were doing sports for the station.
Absolutely. Got to interview Will several times. Got to know him a little bit, and glad to see he's doing so well.
It's a super cool story. Well, the Reynolds Army Health Clinic will be hosting their last Saturday flu drive this weekend. The immunization clinic will be taking place this Saturday from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. The flu vaccine is available for ages 6 months and above.
TRICARE Prime beneficiaries can also get their flu vaccine at no cost at any pharmacy that accepts TRICARE. Make sure to bring documentation if you get a flu vaccine off post.
And there is an unclaimed burial request this week at the Fort Sill National Cemetery in Elgin. Army Private Avril Miller served during the Vietnam War period from October of 1964 to July of 1965. He will be laid to rest at 9 tomorrow morning. For more information, you can go to the Comanche County Veterans Council's Facebook page.
And Fort Sill Patriot Spouses Club is hosting the 52nd annual Tour of Homes fundraiser this weekend on post. That event runs Saturday evening from 5 until 8.
Now, this year's tour will feature 13 homes and showcase historic craftsmanship and holiday inspiration. All proceeds from the Tour of Homes supports the Fort Sill Patriot Spouses Club Scholarship Fund. Tickets will be $15 for one person or $25 for two. The event is open to the public, but you must have your real ID to get onto Fort Sill. For more information and to register, you can visit the website that's listed at the bottom of your screen. Well, Shepherd Air Force Bases celebrated the activation of the 358th Training Squadron this month.
So 358th was formed from the Air Force Logistics Officers School, marking a new chapter in advancing logistics training and excellence. Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Darty assumed command of the squadron, which aims to shape the next generation of logistics officers in the Air Force. The 358th Training Squadron reflects the Air Force's commitment to modernization, readiness, and developing leaders who will drive the mission forward. And the Grinch Gives Back is taking place tomorrow at the Event Center Ballroom on Shepherd Air Force Base. That event is for those 18 and above and is open to permanent party only. That's enlisted officers and DoD civilians, contractors, and retirees. So it features over $15,000 in prizes and giveaways. Doors open up at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Drawings begin at 6:30. Seating is limited to 250 people. Entry is free, but there will be walking tacos for purchase along with drink specials. Well, leaders at Altus Air Force Base are reminding airmen and their families of inclement weather procedures ahead of winter weather season.
So in case of inclement weather, non-mission essential personnel may leave at the announced time. Mission essential personnel are advised to follow guidance from their supervisors. Both the CDC and youth centers will require you to pick up your kiddos ASAP.
Now, if any delays are issued, do not report before the designated time. The commissary exchange and most customer services will be closed. Medical clinics will also be closed, and any appointments may shift to virtual or be rescheduled.
Information will be posted on the 97th AMW Facebook page or via the 481 News for any changes.
So to come, President Trump has signed a new bill that will increase the pensions given to recipients of the Medal of Honor and their families. Your latest news from around the forces is coming up.
7 News, working for you every night at 5 and 6. Every evening.
A man charged in a deadly hit and run from 2023 has been sentenced.
7 News is working for you.
There's another shakeup in the Lawton City Council as another member announces their resignation.
Your first alert for what's next.
That triple-digit heat that you saw in those 2 towns, that'll be throughout most of our areas we heading in next week.
Uncovering breaking stories that impact Texoma.
The Lawton Firefighters Association is raising awareness about critical staffing issues.
7 News, working for you every night at 10.
Every first matters. The first alarm at first cup of coffee and the first look at what the day could bring.
And 7 News is right here with you with your first alert.
Every first, every morning, we're here. 7 News, Good Morning Texoma. Every first, every morning, we're here. Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amankwa.
And right now we're looking at the Jackson Memorial Hospital tower cam, and we can see precipitation is falling in the form of a wintry mix. In Altus, that is mainly snow and maybe some sleet mixed in. And yesterday here in Lawton, we hit a high of only 54, just slightly below average, and a low of 31 degrees. Elsewhere, the highs were generally in the upper 40s, ranging to the mid 50s and the low 60s. 60 in Graham, 62 in Bowie, 55 in the Falls, 54 yesterday in Lawton, 50 in Chickasha, 49 in Elk City. Looking at current temperatures, we're still in the 30s, 34 in Anadarko, 35 in Lawton and Fort Sill, 32 in Chickasha, 40 in Wichita Falls and in Graham, 41 in Jacksboro, 33 in Childress. Relative humidity values are quite high, especially at the surface, so that's why we were able to get a lot of this precipitation. Feel like temperatures feel like the 20s, 26 in Lawton, 30 in Anadarko, 25 in Chickasha, 31 in Wichita Falls, 34 in Graham. It is a little bit breezy out there. We have those winds out of the north and northeast, anywhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour. And we've seen gusts up to 18 in Duncan and especially to our south, 22 in Graham. And in Monday, looking at current conditions, you can see this stream of precipitation continue to be the case. And pretty much from Lawton all the way towards about the I-40 corridor, this is where the heaviest precip could fall, and there could be some accumulation. So especially on those bridges and overpasses, make sure you are very careful. This is our upper level low, and it will continue to make its way towards the east. Rain chances, or should I say precipitation chances with this wintry mix, should end by the time we get to the afternoon and evening hours.
Taking a look at some news from around the forces, Medal of Honor recipients will soon see their pensions increase nearly 4-fold under legislation signed by President Trump this week.
So the bill increases the base rate for the pension from around $1,500 per month to over $5,600 per month. Pensions for surviving spouses will see the same jump.
Now, legislators say that the increase better compensates recipients who are often not retired from the U.S. military and spend much of their time traveling the country and sharing their stories. And lawmakers in Washington unanimously supported a measure that would increase compensation for severely injured veterans at a hearing of the House Veterans Affairs Committee this week.
Committee members, however, cannot agree on how to pay for the expansion, which is expected to cost $10 billion over the next decade. The Veterans Benefits Expansion Act would award an additional $10,000 to each year to veterans with traumatic brain injuries, paralysis, and other serious disabilities connected to their military service.
The bill would also increase benefits by 1% per year for the next 5 years for the spouses of service members who were killed in the line of duty or who died from their injuries.
The Department of Veterans Affairs scrapped a $77 million energy program from the Biden administration that would have put solar-powered charging stations for electric vehicles at VA medical centers and other facilities.
VA Secretary Doug Collins says that under the Biden administration, the department was, quote, distracted by woke social justice programs and green energy boondoggles. The VA has yet to decide how all of the funds will be redirected, but Collins said the 3 projects have already been targeted, beginning with $10 million worth of upgrades for the VA's Friendship House residents in Oklahoma City. The U.S. has set up a new drone squadron in the Middle East. The squadron uses low-cost unmanned combat attack system, or Lucas drones.
The drones use technology that developers reverse-engineered from Iranian technology that has seen use in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. This is the U.S. military's first one-way attack drone squadron in the Middle East. It's unclear exactly where in the region the squadron will be based. Amen. The Air Force Honor Guard drill team is celebrating 75 years of excellence this year. The team was founded in 1950 to perform ceremonial honors in the nation capital region, but now performs over 100 exhibitions every year across the globe.
Each member trains full-time to master the team's 7-minute routine. Behind every public performance are thousands of hours of repetition, while the uniforms, movements, and routines have undergone changes during the 75-year history. The mission to represent the Air Force with honor remains steadfast. One of the planes that flies with the Air Force Thunderbirds aerial demonstration team crashed during training yesterday. We'll bring you the latest national military headlines when Good Morning Fort Sill returns.
7 News, working for you every night at 5 and 6. Every evening.
A man charged in a deadly hit and run from 2023 has been sentenced.
7 News is working for you.
There's another shakeup in the Lawton City Council as another member announces their resignation.
Your first alert for what's next.
That triple-digit heat that you saw in those 2 towns, that'll be throughout most of our areas we heading in next week.
Uncovering breaking stories that impact Texoma.
The Lawton Firefighters Association is raising awareness about critical staffing issues.
7 News, working for you every night at 10.
Every first matters. The first alarm at first cup of coffee and the first look at what the day could bring.
And 7 News is right here with you with your first alert.
Every first, every morning, we're here. 7 News, Good Morning Texoma. Every first, every morning, we're here.
A fighter jet with the Air Force Thunderbirds aerial demonstration team crashed in Southern California in the desert yesterday.
Definitely a scary situation. So the F-16C Fighting Falcon crashed around 10:45 a.m. during a training mission. The pilot was able to safely eject from the aircraft and was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at an area hospital.
Wednesday's crash is under investigation, and further information will be released from the 57th Wing Public Affairs Office.
A new study is showing promising results to give people suffering from ALS nationwide a faster diagnosis and more time to live.
Casey Torres brings us the story of one veteran who is using his experience with ALS to help others get diagnosed quicker.
Just live life, enjoy life, laugh as much as we can.
Husband, father, and military veteran Ernie Ruiz doesn't take the simple things in life for granted.
I wouldn't wish anyone to learn their perspective this way.
By this way, he means losing your independence. Ernie was active, strong, and healthy. 2 years ago, that all began to change.
I started having trouble coordinating my feet together. Something was wrong with my right foot.
Ernie would later be diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. It's a disease that weakens a person's muscles, eventually leaving them unable to walk, speak, and breathe. There's no cure. The life expectancy is 2 to 5 years. At 47 years old, Ernie can no longer walk.
Basically paralyzed from the waist down, and I'm starting to have trouble in my right arm as well.
His diagnosis took months because there's no single test that detects ALS. However, there is a new blood test being studied by UCLA researchers that could spot the disease and show how quickly or slowly it's progressing. Dr. Robert Bowser, a researcher for ALS Arizona, says the test samples what's known as cell-free DNA.
This is released from cells that are dying, And using a technology around modifications to that DNA, you can identify basically what organ is that DNA coming from.
This life-changing test still needs more study, so it could be years until it rolls out to the public. But Ernie is hopeful the test will help future ALS patients have more time with their loved ones, because he knows how precious every minute with them is.
I've lived a really exciting and fun life, and I don't have this huge bucket list of things to do, so I just want to do what everyone else is doing and be there with them.
It was a pretty powerful story there for sure. Hopefully the research will continue. Obviously it will, and they can find that, an earlier diagnosis for sure. Well, the U.S. Navy has finished removing significant portions of 2 World War II era mooring platforms from the USS Arizona in order to preserve the historic ship.
So work began over a month ago to remove the 80-year-old concrete platforms. Now, this reduces the weight bearing down on the Arizona's deck to avoid disturbance or damage to the structure of the ship.
And take a look at your good news. An Air Force veteran is showing that age is just a number, and he has logged over 1,300 hours of volunteer work.
So 85-year-old Harold Sauter, known to his friends as Coach, is a fixture at the Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida. Instead of kicking back in retirement, Harold is giving back.
I'm not just going to go sit somewhere, and drink beer, or I'm not going to go take cruises everywhere. I'm going to go try to help people.
Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
And as we look at our precipitation type that we can expect this morning, generally south of the river, you can expect a cold rain. We get a mix of sleet and wet snow here, and then mainly sleet and snow across our northern counties. So looking at this morning, we can see where the main band of precipitation will be. And then as we go throughout much of the morning hours, it starts to taper off, and we'll have mostly cloudy skies for much of the day. Temperatures will be in the 30s for the most part. As we head into the overnight hours into Friday, partly cloudy skies, and then we will generally have clearing as we go through your Friday and into your weekend. We should be just fine as we head into your Sunday and your Monday. And we'll continue to have mostly clear skies. Future snow totals anywhere from maybe up to maybe a 1/5 of an inch of snow possible. Maybe a few locations could get up to 1, locally higher amounts of maybe 2, but other than that, I'm not really expecting much. So today, only high of 39 degrees with the wintry mix early during the day. As we go into tonight, a low of 26 and partly cloudy skies. And then as we go into tomorrow, we only have a high of 55 degrees for partly cloudy skies. It will be still cool. Wind switching from the north to the southwest at 0 to 10. And as we look at your 7-day forecast, we start to moderate as we head into your weekend. We get another front end by your Saturday into your Sunday. And then we start to moderate and dry out as we go into next week.
Obviously keeping an eye on that weather this morning and hoping it doesn't get too bad on the roads today, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching Good Morning Fort Sill.